House job is a 12-month internship for newly graduated medical doctors in Nigeria, and it is a compulsory program. Here are 5 things you need to know before choosing where to do your house job in Nigeria. Before we go further, I would also like to comment that house job can only be done in an MDCN accredited hospital, meaning they have to have the basic minimum equipment and then personnel to train house officers. And usually that would be a teaching hospital, whether federal or state, most FMCs, federal medical centers, and a few private institutions, as well as some very few well-equipped general hospitals. If this is the first time you're coming across my YouTube channel, my name is Jude. I am a medical doctor currently doing my house job at the capital city of Nigeria. On this channel, I make videos on medicine, lifestyle, and productivity. The first factor I'll be talking about is cost of living in that environment. Whether it is a metropolitan city or it is a rural area, you have to factor in the cost of living. And also, you might not be very lucky to get accommodation in that hospital. So how is housing around that area like? How much does renting a house cost in that area? You want to factor all of this into play because you have to just oppose them with your salary at the end of the day and see, do you really want to go to that place? Are you going to end up spending more than you'll be earning monthly? So you have to also put that into consideration. So when you are choosing whether you want to do it in a city or somewhere that is also a bit remote, so this is a big factor or a big determinant on choosing where to settle for. Most times it is easier to save money when you are doing house job in a rural area or in a less developed area because housing usually cheaper if you are not so fortunate to get a place within the hospital. Transport also usually cheaper, and even food items usually cheaper in such places than doing it in a major city. And another thing is, for example, I decided to do mine in my teaching hospital because I am used to this place. I schooled here, so given that already like I already know my way around the place, it's easier for me to navigate my way. So that was like a big factor in choosing this place, coupled with the fact that cost of living is not so high here compared to some other aspect of the city. Second factor you want to consider in choosing where to do your house job is, are you planning to take any exams during your housemanship year? If yes, for example, you are planning to take some licensing exams like PLAB, the USMLE, or any other licensing exam, you wouldn't want to go far from the central cities. When I say central cities like Lagos, Port Harcourt, or Abuja, I think these are the major cities where these exams have centers. And if you should go to Sokoto or Zamfara, for example, and you wish to take any of these exams during your house job period, you would have to start planning logistics around traveling and all. Imagine you want to take flight, you might end up spending a whole month's salary or even 2 months' salary on traveling to go and write your exams. Coupled with the fact that you might have to take breaks because you can't just breeze in and breeze out because you have to plan ahead. You have to plan about taking a break and all that. So you have to also consider that when choosing where to do your house job. Even as simple as IELTS, not every state have center for IELTS. So that's a big determinant too in choosing or settling for the state you wish to do your house job in Nigeria. Another factor you also want to consider is proximity to home. Most people love going home. They stay away from home for a couple of weeks. They're already homesick. They want to go back home and see their people. So if you're that kind of a person, you don't want to go far away from home because you're going to need all the support you can get during house job. Most times it becomes very overwhelming. It's good you also consider that. Do you want to travel far from home where you may not be able to frequent home often, or you want to stay close to home? That's also a big factor in choosing where to do your house job. Another big factor in choosing where to do your house job is language. What is the predominant language spoken in that environment? For example, if you want to go to the east or you want to go to the north and you don't know the language they speak there, it's going to be a major challenge because when clerking patients, like when seeing patients, to start looking for someone to translate, and that will be a lot of work on your part compared to if you go to a place where you are familiar with their language, you are like fortunate to do it in a place where the predominant language is English language, like myself. So that's a big factor because you don't want to start learning a new language all over, or when you see patients, you are not so satisfied because you can't really speak their language. That's a big factor you should also consider when choosing where to do your house job. And the last one for today is exposure, the amount of exposure and the quality of supervision and training you get. Because I must tell you, house job is like the period where you get to solidify your clinical skills and acumen. If you are unfortunate to do it in a center where you are not thoroughly supervised and trained, you just end up becoming a substandard medical officer. So you want to also choose a center where they have quality training, like have a lot of cases where you get to see a lot of cases and learn. And also, you would want to do your house job in a place that will afford you to learn as much as you can. And choosing a place where you can also get a lot of hands-on is best because after house job, you might be posted to a village during your youth service where you are the only doctor there. You get to make all the decisions. If you have never attempted doing an episode, how are you going to survive? If you have never attempted doing a cesarean session, how are you going to survive? Or if you have not even attempted managing like most of these very common cases, you may not really do well as a medical officer in your first year of being a medical officer, usually youth service. So the level of exposure you get, the level and quality of training you get should also be a strong determinant in considering where to do your house job. I don't know if you have heard about centralization of housemanship, whereby you have to apply through the portal. I'm going to drop a video soon on that. Centralization of house job, what it means, the advantages, and how you can also exploit your own advantage. So this is where I'll be drawing the curtain for today. Till I come your way again. Bye.